Ladies and gentlemen, welcome out to Hart Park here in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin for this WPSL match as your host, FC Milwaukee Torrent, take on the Midwest Select SA Muskrats. It is a beautiful 64 degrees, clear skies, small bit of a breeze. We'll see if that affects the play at all today. And the weather should hold pretty constant for this affair. Well, taking a look at these two teams, looking back at last year, Milwaukee Torrent took first place in the Lake Michigan division, going unbeaten, 7 wins, 1 draw. I take that back, 7 wins, 1 loss. So they were beaten 1 time, and that was by crosstown rival Bavarian United SC. Now, Bavarian United SC is not in the WPSL anymore. They went over to a different league, which has changed the makeup of the Lake Michigan division. More on that in just a bit. So we talked about Milwaukee Torrent having that 1 loss on the year, but 7 wins, which was good enough for first place. The Midwest Muskrats, well, they were on the opposite side of that spectrum. No wins for them last year, 7 losses, 1 draw. So they come into this year looking for their first ever win as an organization, as they were an expansion team just last year. Well, the Torrent come into today in the preseason rankings as the 8th best team overall in the Central region. Of course, their goal will be to win the Lake Michigan division again, to repeat as champions. Today will tell a lot of that story. The Torrent do have 8 new players this year, and quite a few of those in the starting lineup, 4 to be exact. But we talked about how the Lake Michigan division looks a little bit different this year. Leaving the region was, as I mentioned before, Bavarians SC. Also, Dayton Dutch Lions no longer part of the Lake Michigan division. Instead, we do have FC Milwaukee Torrent. We do have, obviously, the Midwest Muskrats. Returning with them is the Chicago Kicks Football Club. And joining those 3 teams are the Iowa Raptors and the Quad City Rush. Quad Cities Rush was in last year's Heartland division, so they're still part of the overall Midwest Conference, but moving over a division into the Lake Michigan division. Well, you hear our PA announcer, Dan Pfeiffer, letting the fans know here what to expect in the stadium. And with that, let me give you the starting lineups for both clubs. Let's start with the visitors today. Again, the Midwest Select SA Muskrats. A lot of returning players for them, quite a few new ones as well. Starting at right back, number 3, Emily Green. At center back, number 5, Kaylin Smith. Center midfielder and captain, number 6, Olivia Hansen. On the wing, number 8, returning player, Sydney Stott. Center midfielder, Olivia Shaw. She'll be sporting number 11 today. We'll see how much the Muskrats want to move the ball through her. She is a new signing as well. So Schaefer and Hansen teaming up in that center midfield. Also on the wing, number 12, Kelly Schaefer. In goal for the Muskrats, number 13, Tatum Danham. Center back, Kelly Landry, wearing number 16. At forward, number 17, Kylie Evers. Number 19, also in the midfield, Kendall Karuba. And finally, number 23, playing left back today, Alex Skinner. On the other side of the pitch, your FC Milwaukee Torrent, returning and starting in goal, number 1, Mickey Easter. Number 5, center midfielder, Senya Moyer. At left forward, number 7, Layla Kelbel. She is one of the new players this year that will be in the starting lineup. Talking of new players, how about number 8, Lauren Hernandez? She will be in the attacking left midfield position. In the attacking right midfield, number 10, Lainey Higgins. Another new player for the Torrent, featuring in their starting 11, right wing, number 13, Sophia Bellistrieri. A returning player and very strong at left wing, number 14, Mia Hurdle. Right forward, Number 19, Alexa Miletus, very energetic, very fun player. She is also returning. We shall see what she can bring to the field today as well. Back in the defensive third, looking at right back position, number 22, Maddie Solaric. And left back, number 27, Greta Hansen. And finally, center back, as she has been for so many years for the Torrent, anchoring a very strong defense, wearing number 31, is Captain Kelly Swenson. So Torrent returning a lot of their spine from last season. Other players that I'm sure we will see featured today include number 23, Elsie Twombly. Had a heck of a season last year, had a heck of a season for Marquette as well. Leading scorer for Marquette this past fall. And of course, joined by several other teammates on this team, including left wing Mia Hurdle. Hurdle, very strong player out of Kettle Moraine area. Went to Kettle Moraine High School. We've seen flashes of her brilliance as well, both with Marquette as well as with this Torrent team. As both teams, at least the benches, out on the field now. You see Muskrats in their navy jerseys with their white sleeves. Torrent will be sporting their new jerseys, basically all white from here, but they do have some gray in that jersey. And in just a few minutes, we will have both teams walking out with their starters. We will get to the national anthem. In the meantime, talking about the Muskrats, a young club, as I mentioned, only in their second season in the WPSL. A great organization, though. Owner and head coach Jamie McNicholas and his wife Alyssa McNicholas bringing some great women's soccer to Northwest Indiana. Call themselves Scrat Nation. And they are very well represented. A lot of players from Valparaiso, Indiana. A couple from Chesterton, Indiana. And a number of universities represented as well. Of course, if this is your first time watching a WPSL match, which, by the way, WPSL stands for Women's Premier Soccer League, a lot of these players are in college. You get a few that aren't, like Kelly Swenson, but love the game and continue to play. This is a non-professional league, though WPSL did announce they will have a pro league very soon. I'm not sure if the Torrent have any plans to try to move up to that or not, but we shall see what happens in the future here with FC Milwaukee Torrent. But the WPSL, a lot of college players featured, which can make things a little bit difficult. The arrival of players, timing can be different for each team, for each player, as well as having to leave and go back to college. Always depends on when the preseason will start with their college programs. Of course, there are NCAA rules on what they have to follow. But for the most part, a lot of these WPSL teams are really at the mercy of those college programs. Nevertheless, it is a great league for development of players and allowing these players to continue to play throughout the summer as their college programs take a break. As you see, both starters coming into the field, coming onto the pitch here at Hart Park. It is an artificial surface, as you could probably guess from the number of lines that are on the field. Turf is a bit newer yet, but you will see as the game goes on, tends to play quite quickly. Now, the FC Milwaukee Torrent Club does practice here at Hart Park, usually early in the mornings. So they do have some familiarity with this surface. However, first game of the year for both teams, just as it was last year at this time of year. Muskrats did give the Torrent a run for their money, even though the Torrent, my apologies, the Torrent were the ones that came away victorious. And with 4 new players in the starting lineup for the Torrent, we will see if that chemistry is there or if it's going to take a while for this Torrent starting 11 to find the right mix with each other. But always an exciting day, opening day here in the WPSL Lake Michigan division. People still, and we will All right, we tried throwing it over there to Dan Pfeiffer just to bring you some of the in-stadium excitement. Having some technological issues, but no worries. We shall continue on here as the starting 11s are announced. And immediately following the starting 11s, we will go over to the national anthem, at which time I'll stop talking for a little bit, take a break, catch some water myself. But as I was saying, a beautiful day for some women's football today. Very excited to be here for this opening match. And for those of you familiar with the Torrent, my name is Simon Provan. You're hearing a different voice now for the men's games. But I will be here at least for 3 of the 4 for the women's team. As I promised, I will take a break now as we turn it over to the national anthem. And I will be back on the other side. Welcome back to the broadcast. Starting 11 has been announced. National anthem has been played. Fist bumps being given all around, and we are just about to get underway here at Hart Park. If you're just tuning in, thank you for joining us on this 11 Sports stream. My name is Simon Provan. We are at Hart Park in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, as the home team FC Milwaukee Torrent hosts the Midwest Select SA Muskrats out of the Northwest Indiana region. Head coach for FC Milwaukee Torrent and owner and founder of the club, Andy Davi. Excited to get this season underway, as is owner and head coach of the Muskrats, Jamie McNicholas. McNicholas is assisted today by Katie Thomas. Well, we are so excited to be bringing you this game on this beautiful day. Both teams' first game of the season. Muskrats aiming for their first win ever in WPSL play. Again, this is only their second season. They were an expansion team last year. Though they didn't get a win on the season, they did get a draw, so they did finish the year with a point. On the other side, the Torrent, they took the Lake Michigan crown, doing just enough to top crosstown rival Milwaukee Bavarian. Sad that we won't see that Milwaukee Derby this year, as Bavarian have gone on to a different league. But the Torrent, one of the anchored clubs here in the WPSL, at least over the past several years. And Andy Davi has been the head coach of the women's program if I have my figures right, for at least the last 3 years. First year in existence, Mark Litton was the head coach of the women's side. And since then, Andy Davia has taken over. Ended up losing last year in the playoffs to the Kansas City Current 2 team. Unfortunately, that game was a closed-door game. So even though it was the playoffs, no fans allowed in the stadium, no video allowed. So we had to depend on updates from the Twitterverse for that game. But not the case here tonight. Not the case anytime the Torrent is playing at Hart Park, whether it's men's or women's. And by the way, a programming note, the next time you join us for a women's game, we will not be on 11 Sports. We will be on YouTube. We have moved to that platform with the men's team already, and we will do so with our next women's match. Some quick conversations between the center referee and his second assistant ref on the far side. Not quite sure what the conversation is about. I'm not sure we'll find out either. Well, both teams looking to get an early jump on the season. But how quickly of a jump will one of them get is the question. Once again, Muskrats going from left to right in their navy blue, Torrent in their white, moving from right to left, and we are underway here at Hart Park. Early opportunity here for Milwaukee. Ball passed in, shot, goal! First 10 seconds of the game, and the Torrent jump on the season about as early as you can. Alexa Miletus with the goal, assisted by Layla Kelbel. Kelbel winning that ball quickly, reading it well. Miletus making an absolutely perfect off-the-ball run. And Kelbel saw Miletus early, played her the ball perfectly. And what a beautiful shot from Miletus. Very calm, precision over power, does the job. Torn up early here, much to the delight of the home crowd, 1-0. Again, that goal not only coming in the first minute, coming in the first 9 seconds of play. You know, we don't have a historian for the Torrent, but I would certainly be willing to bet quite a bit of money that that is the fastest goal in Torrent history, either men's or women's. And that's going to be a tough one for the Muskrats to come out of. Of course, the Torrent now going to have to be careful that they don't allow emotions to take over. Tend to be very vulnerable, any team, after scoring a goal, especially that early. Be very easy to look at the game and think, well, we got this one in the bag. So the Torrent will have to be very careful with that. Greta Hansen, left back, handling the throw-in responsibilities on the first throw-in for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Swenson with her first touches on the ball. Swenson had spent some time in Sweden, I believe it was, with a professional team out there before returning back home a couple of years ago to the Torrent. Outstanding career at UW Milwaukee. Another opportunity here. Hernandez on the ball for the Torrent. Ball gets sent out of bounds. That was Kelly Landry knocking the ball out for the Muskrats. Throwing for Milwaukee. Ball played near the top of the box. Early on here, Milwaukee looking for their second. Players onside. Shot just over the crossbar. Goal kick for the Muskrats. Kaylin Smith plays this out wide. On the ball is Schaefer. Schaefer playing this ball back inside. Muskrats just trying to keep possession here rather than allowing the Torrent another opportunity at goal. They do enough to win that throw-in. Alex Skinner on the throw-in responsibilities for the Muskrats. Fans here already cheering on the Torrent, hoping for another goal. But first, Torrent will have to keep possession in this midfield. Ball played all the way back to Easter. Mickey Easter had an outstanding season last year for the Torrent in goal. Always great to see her between the pipes. Plays this to her outside. Hernandez touches this ball back. Back to Swenson. Swenson out to Hansen. Hansen picks up her head, see if she has any options, plays it outside to Hurdle. Hurdle still on the ball. Gets past one defender. That was Stott that she got past, and now she lays this ball off for Miletus. A little too hard from Hurdle. And Muskrats will have a throw-in on this near side. Emily Green with the throw-in. One recognizable player not returning to the Torrent is Bonnie Lacey. A couple other players as well that we will note of later. But head coach Andy Davi very confident that the team he has this year with the 8 new players is stronger than what he had last year. And certainly if you're going by fastest goals scored, that says a lot right there. But of course, the game of football is more than scoring goals. Torrent happy to be patient in the back. That was one of their signatures last year, is never giving up and being okay, being patient on the ball, no matter if it was in the attacking third, midfield, or the defending third. They're happy to keep possession and work for and find those opportunities. Green with the throw. Looking for Hansen, but instead goes to the feet of Moyer. Moyer out to Solaric. Solaric trying to get it through, but he eventually fouled. Free kick for the Torrent. Maddie Solaric plays her college ball at University of Northern Iowa. And ball goes out of bounds in favor of the Muskrats. Speaking of University of Northern Iowa, you'll notice that Jordan Rowley not on the roster for the Torrent. She's got her master's degree now and not available this season as she is elsewhere. Had a long injury last season as well. Finally was able to play in the last few games. But again, some strong replacements, some strong reinforcements for those non-returning players for the Torrent. See some nice cohesiveness from the Torrent early on here. Hurdle trying to get through. Fans from both sides wanting a foul called. Hansen once again plays this back to Swenson. Callie Swenson looking upfield. Now looks to send it long. That was an offside on Miletus. It's a nice job by the Muskrats pulling off that offside trap just before that ball was played. Both central defenders stepped up, pulling Miletus off. And Muskrats with the free kick. Evers with a touch. Plays this back out to her left wing. An offside call now against the Muskrats. So 1-1 when it comes to offside calls. 9 minutes into this one, it is 1-0 in favor of the Torrent, getting that goal in the first 9 seconds of play from Miletus. A lot of credit to that goal goes to Layla Kelbel. Kelbel was the one who made the run towards the box and then made a perfect pass to the onrushing Miletus. Miletus seeing the far side of the goal wide open, placed it perfectly. And that is where we remain here in the 10th minute. This Hart Park crowd getting into it. Back to Easter. Easter looking for Hurdle. Hurdle able to keep it in after a few missteps. Hurdle very confident on that ball. Coming out deep from the left. Tries to pass it off, goes to Landry instead. Hansen able to bring that ball down to her feet. Hernandez out to Hurdle. Hurdle now sends up a nice ball looking for Kelbel. Instead, Kaylin Smith gets a touch, sends it out of bounds. Torrent throw-in. Hurdle on the left wing taking the throw-in. Ball misjudged there, goes out of bounds. Goal kick for the Muskrats. Dameron out of Schererville, Indiana, the goalkeeper for the Muskrats tonight, plays her college ball at Truman State University. Sends this near the touchline. Once again called offside, waiting for the whistle. There it is. That on Miletus. Head coach Andy Davi not happy with that call. Miletus a little confused as well, but I do believe when that ball was played, she was just a touch offside. Well done by the far side AR. Dameron with the kick. Sends this towards midfield. Looked to be a handball, but that was not called. We continue on. Swenson trying to send that upfield, and Kelly Schaefer jumping up, both hands in the air, struck her in the hands. But no harm, no foul as play continues in favor of the Torrent. Hurdle once again on this near side. Looking to get that up to Kelbel. Instead, touched out of bounds. Another throw-in for the Torrent. Torrent in their newest jerseys. And a new kit sponsor this year, Sobelman's Pub. Known famously in Milwaukee for their various burgers as well as their massive Bloody Marys. They've been a proud supporter of the Torrent for many, many years. Ball played back to Hansen. Hansen plays this in the middle. Moyer. Solaric playing this ball upfield. Some nice moves on that far side. Hernandez now plays this in. That is a corner kick as it did go off of a Muskrat player. Down on the ground is Kendall Karuba. I didn't see anything malicious happen out there, but quickly calling for the trainers. We're officially in the 14th minute of play. Score is 1-0. I hate to see somebody go down, especially this early. First game of the season, teams getting a feel for each other. Muskrats gaining a bit more confidence as the game went on. And to see one of your starters go down, it looks like Karuba is grabbing her right ankle as the trainers look over her. Certainly hope that if it has to be anything, perhaps just a bit of a tweak. But certainly don't want to rush anything when it comes to injuries. Well, a few games in the WPSL have been played. In the Northwest Conference, Cultures United Football Club drew 2-2 with Spokane SC Shadow. And player is up now. This is, again, Kendall Karuba. Does look like she needs quite a bit of support out there, so we certainly wish Karuba well. Again, hopefully it's just more of a tweak when all is said and done. But she's not putting any weight on that right foot. Now ball played in for the Torrent. Header headed off the line. Ball still bouncing around. Olivia Hansen, captain, coming up big for the Muskrats. She was the one who headed that ball off of the goal line. And then in the end, Tatum Dameron eventually getting control of that ball, keeping this game at 1-0. Ball sent to the far side of the box. Sophia Balistriri plays this ball back. Torrent smelling blood here. They go for it once again. Miletus hoping to get more of a foot on that one. Ball sent just a bit too far, but a great heads-up play from the right back of the Torrent, Maddie Solaric. Molly Murray, the player coming on for the injured Kendall Karuba. Murray wearing number 14. Just to give you some updates on Karuba as watching her being supported on her walk towards her bench. She at least is putting some weight on that right foot now, which is good to see. Ball played back by Smith. Hurdle looking to play this back into the Muskrats box. But instead, Kaylin Smith had other plans. Solaric all the way back to Easter. Easter not having seen a shot on goal yet. 18th minute of play here at Hart Park in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. If you are just joining us, FC Milwaukee Torrent scoring in the first minute of play. By my clock, it was actually 9 seconds into the game. And that's how it's remained since, as the Torrent are up on the Midwest Muskrats 1-0 here in the 18th minute. Bit of back and forth in this midfield. Torrent defense has not been very busy. The one opportunity that it looked like the Muskrats was going to have was called offside. So overall, the Torrent have really controlled this game. Ball thrown in the box. No danger there for the Muskrats, as once again Dameron picks that off the floor. Looking for options, doesn't see any, is going to elect to punt this one. Gets it just to midfield where Swenson meets it with her head. Higgins. Ball making its way all the way back to Hansen. Shaw wins that battle with Hernandez, but then Shaw's pass goes right to Moyer. Moyer playing it back to Solaric. Solaric playing this up top. Player is onside. Rushing on is Kelbill. Can she get to it? No, she cannot. As Dameron comes sliding out, making sure she beat Kelbill to the ball. Kelly Swenson with a nice win. Plays this to Kelbill. Plays it all the way back. Hansen. Hansen picks her head up. Nice ball forward. Comes to the feet of Hurdle. Hurdle with a nice pass. Miletus once again playing this, trying to play it across the box. Goes just too far. Goal kick for the Muskrats. Murray plays this ball to Shaw. Muskrats trying to play this one up, but the Torrent defense reads it well. Torrent in possession once again. Hansen plays this back to Swenson. Swenson takes a few steps forward. Now plays it to Moyer. Moyer up to Hernandez. Hernandez still on the ball. Tries to play it to Miletus. Well done by the center back of the Muskrats, but in possession once again is the Torrent. Hurdle making her way into the box. Hurdle on her left foot, plays the ball in and directly into the side netting of the outside of the Muskrats' goal. Goal kick once again for Midwest Select. Well, Torrent coming out today in a very offensive-looking 3-5-2. And certainly paid off in the first minute of play. And with the way things are going, never want to be the one who jinxes anybody, but I won't be surprised if we see some more as Miletus. Not sure if Miletus was trying to turn that one, perhaps for a shot on goal, but nevertheless goes to the other side of the pitch, out of bounds for the Muskrats. Alex Skinner out of Valparaiso, Indiana with the throw-in. I'd mentioned earlier a number of players out of Valparaiso. And you'll hear me say a few times Chesterton, Indiana as well. Miletus, this one on the ground. Balistrieri plays this in. Ball still live. At the top of the box is Higgins. Higgins with the shot, blocked by the Muskrats defense. Goes out of bounds. Higgins also one of the various UW Milwaukee players on this Torrent team. Out of Appleton, played high school at Appleton East. Strong tackle. Looking to see if both players get up. They do. Strong tackle by Layla Kelbill. Muskrats not afraid to try to play this out of the back. Now send this forward, where once again, a Torrent player is there to meet it with her head. This ball now sent far downfield. Hansen playing this all the way back to her goalkeeper, Mickey Easter. Easter bringing this ball across the box momentarily. No pressure. She's not afraid to take her time as the clock ticks over to the 24th minute of play. Out on the far side is Balistrieri. Balistrieri into Higgins. Higgins to Solaric. Again, Torrent very patient in their buildup. Not afraid to play it back to reset, as we see once again Cehlarik on the ball. Cehlarik switching fields. Hansen playing it all the way back to Easter. Easter seeing Hertl wide open with a flick of the head. Hertl to Higgins and right back to Hertl. A nice give and go from those two players. Hertl still on the ball, giving a little shove, but still maintaining possession. Now plays this in for Kebbel. She is right in front of the goal. Shot and a goal! Layla Kebbel, FC Milwaukee Torrent. Assist coming from number 14, Mia Hertl. Here in the 25th minute, 24th minute goal to be sure. Torrent up 2-0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 substitutions, I believe, are happening here at the same time. We will get you as many of those substitutions as possible. Shout out to my spotter today, Yuri Hubrovich. You may be familiar with that name. He plays center midfield for the men's Torrent team as well. He's the man trying to figure all this out for me today. Well, a wonderful goal. Started all the way back, really, with Mickey Easter. Easter playing that out to Hansen. Hansen plays it up to Hertl. And then a great give and go, if I remember correctly. It was Hernandez, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but a great give and go, and then Hertl continued to make her run into the Muskrats box, beat a couple of players. And then played that ball off to Kelbel, who made a nice move and then slammed it into the far side of the goal. Well, all the players that came onto the field, make sure they get their due here as I keep my eye on the game as well. Lola Wojcik coming in for in the midfield. Adriana Alberts also in the midfield. Ryan Locante. Locante was a featured substitute player last year, as the Torrent look to continue to press their will against this Muskrats defense. Also entering the field was Sydney Sagal, new to the Torrent. Number 15, Caitlin Owens. Number 11, Miranda Sophia. And number 17, Tori Crivello. So those are all the players that came onto the field. You did see Mia Hertl go back on without a player coming off. That was simply because the Torrent had mistakenly taken off too many players. The players that did come off were Layla Kelbel, who again was that goal scorer in the 24th minute. Number 27, Greta Hansen, who had a big part of that play. Lauren Hernandez, number 8. Number 22, Maddie Cehlarik. Torrent here with an opportunity in the box. Ball played across, off the post. It is called a goal. Alex Melinas with her second on the night. This one in the 28th minute of play. I was reading through my list of names, and next thing I know, Miletus is standing in front of that goal with the ball at her feet, putting it in the back of the net. Again, that one officially in the 28th minute of play. Just getting confirmation that we do believe it was Locante who got the assist on that goal. Whatever the case, the score is now 3-0. A lot of times you see teams, if they make substitutions, you make 7 substitutions in one window like that, it takes a time for the team to find their chemistry once again, but certainly not the case here at Hart Park for the Torrent. Substitutes came on, and with a minute of those substitutes, they were already putting the ball in the back of the net, making it 3-0 as now we enter the 30th minute. And yes, we do have confirmation that it was number 12, Ryan Locante, with that assist, picking up where she left off from last year. Confident run on the ball. Perfectly played across the 6. And Miletus with a brace here in the first half. Muskrats finding a little bit more opportunity, but just as I say that, the Torrent almost able to take this one as well, but instead Muskrats able to intercept it. And now the ball sent to the far side to Emily Green. Green with a nice cut in. Tries to play this one up, but instead Elbert's there to retrieve the ball. Hurdle. Miletus. Miletus looking to send this in the box. Perhaps trying to give Sydney Sagal an opportunity at that Muskrats goal, but instead goes into the hands of Dameron, who sends this towards midfield looking for Evers. Abby Hall, your center back, who replaced Kelly Swenson. Credit to head coach Andy Davi, seeing that the scoreline was not only 2-0, but more importantly that this Torrent team wasn't having any issues, really dominating the game, all the momentum on their side. Give him lots of credit for making the number of substitutions that he did, making sure that all of these players are well seasoned. You know, not waiting until the game was out of hand where these players wouldn't have much to play for at that point. Instead, saying, you know what, we're in the lead, we're dominating. Has another opportunity here for the Torrent. Thwarted once again by Dameron. But to my point that I was just saying, giving these Torrent players the opportunity to still play in a game that is still quite close, because you never know when you're going to have to depend on your substitutes. We haven't seen Karuba return to the bench. We haven't seen her return to the field at all. And it's in cases like that, it's a perfect case of one of your starters going down. And again, we do wish her all the best in the world. But your bench has to be just as prepared as your starters. I do believe had Miletus got a foot on that ball, she would have been flagged for offside. Nevertheless, not part of the play in the end, so play continues. Short pass to Landry. Landry to Schaefer. Schaefer losing it to Hurdle. Hurdle plays this back. And looking to get it back to Hurdle. Ball goes out of bounds off of the foot of Capillari. Sagal on the ball. A little bit of a shove from behind. Torrent with the free kick. Just behind the midfield line. Ball sent upfield. Miletus remains in for the Torrent. Miletus and Hurdle, strong connection today. Hurdle sporting 14, Miletus 19. Giving the Torrent some assurance of a couple of veteran players out there who play very well together. Really the only player, if I'm looking at this correctly, that did not go in on that substitution that is still on the bench is backup goalkeeper, Madison Osborne. And as I mentioned, the goalkeeper, Mickey Easter, finally having to make somewhat of a play on the ball. Taking her time with the ball in her hands. Well, we are in the 36th minute of play now. Torrent with a goal in the first minutes, 24th minute, and 28th minute of play today, making it 3-0. Hurdle not able to control that as that goes out of bounds just off of her foot. Green with the throw-in for the Muskrats. Now Miletus exits the field. And coming on was Layla Kebbel. Kebbel with a goal herself today. She had that one in the 24th minute. Also had the assist on the first goal of the day, so very active. Hurdle pleasing the crowd with a nice spin move. Pleasing her teammates as well. We got a smart crowd here in Milwaukee for this Torrent home game. O'Toole on the ball for the Torrent. Plays this to the far right side of the field. Nice cut in. And offside flag goes up. Much to the disappointment of Kebbel, who just returned to the game. Miranda Sophia momentarily with the ball for the Torrent, but back in possession of the Muskrats. Murray plays this to her center back, Landry. Landry looking to play this up to Capillari. Instead goes out of bounds in favor of the Torrent. Nice touch by Sagal. Wojcik looking to play this up. Abby Hall with a nice pass out to Locante. Locante with the assist on the third goal today for the Torrent. Nice interception by the Muskrats. That was Olivia Shaw on the ball for the Midwest Muskrats. Ball eventually goes out of bounds. Green with the throw. Crivello. Ball back to Crivello as her and Abby Hall just continue that, knock that ball around. Then Hall plays it back to Easter. Easter sending this ball towards midfield. Stott momentarily on the ball for the Muskrats, but Torrent looking for perhaps a quick counter, quickly thwarted. Ball at the feet of LeConte, goes out of bounds, however, off of the Muskrats player. Couple of substitutions now for the Muskrats. Coming off the field is Emily Green. Making her debut this season is Olivia Hernandez. Also coming off is Kaylee Evers. And on the field was number 9, Kayla Green. Bit of a misplay there by the Torrent defense. Muskrats making their way into the box for really the first time today. Still not officially in that box. Now this ball is played out to Hernandez. Hernandez looks to turn it inside. Torrent there to win the ball. Kelbel. A few touches on the ball, then plays it out to Hurdle. Hurdle looking to play this down the line, hoping Kelbel could get there, but instead is going to be defended by number 16, Kelly Landry. Landry happy to just use her body to block out Kelbel on that end line play. Nice touch out of the air by Stott. Ball at Stott's feet, who then played it to Murray. Murray sees some real estate in front of her, continues her run. Challenged by the Torrent midfield, eventually plays it off to Hernandez. Trying to do a give and go with Kelly Schaefer. But the women in white retain possession once again. Easter playing it to 28, Abby Hall. Kelbel, certainly a energetic debut with the Torrent. As we near halftime, FC Milwaukee Torrent up 3-0 over the Midwest Select SA Muskrats. Muskrats in their second season of play in the WPSL, looking for their first win ever. If this first half is any indication, today is probably not that day. Certainly don't want that to be the curse of the commentator. However, when you are looking at a 3-0 scoreline with just a few minutes to play in the first half, that is going to be tough to come back from. Though that was a nice strong win from Kelly Schaefer as Lola Wojcik was looking to continue her run through the midfield. Nice spin from Alberts. Alberts looks to play this off just a bit too far as Dameron is there once again for the Muskrats. Nice battle between Kelly Landry and number 11, Miranda Sophia. And here is our first train of the night making its way through Hart Park. Beautiful sights here in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Offside call against the Torrent. Torrent with their third or fourth offside call on the night. As they continue to try to press forward, I'm sure we will see a few more of those offside calls as the game goes on. Hurdle with the throw. Sophia trying to win that back. Tripping over everyone was Wojcik. Skinner plays this upfield. Running onto the ball is Schaefer, but beating her to it is Crivello. No Sago playing this back to Easter. Easter just sends this out of bounds, give the Torrent a bit of a breather. That was Caitlin Owens on that far side, sporting number 15, playing right back. We've now entered officially the 45th minute, but we will have 2 minutes minimum of stoppage. Most of that, I'm sure, coming from the Karuba injury. I would give you an update if I could. However, I believe Karuba is still on the trainer's table getting taken care of. Lights officially turning on here at Hart Park as day turns into night, and our first half will soon turn into halftime. So pleased to have you with us today. My name is Simon Provan. You are watching this live stream on 11 Sports, hosted by FC Milwaukee Torrent. Torrent taking on the Midwest Select SA Muskrats, team out of Northwest Indiana. And just as the Torrent have a number of Milwaukee players on their team, number of players out of the Northwest Indiana area on this Muskrats team. Mickey Easter not in any rush whatsoever, waiting for somewhat of pressure from the Muskrats before picking up the ball. And extending this 6 seconds as much as possible. Referee already giving one signal, trying to get Easter to get this ball underway. Can the Torrent find one more before the end of the half? Olivia Hernandez tries to send this to the far side of the field. It gets there. Wasn't sure if that was going to go out for a corner. It does not, but still results in a throw-in for the Torrent near the 18. Still have about 15 seconds of our 2 minutes of stoppage left to play. No rush again from the Torrent. Owens with the throw-in. Not much happening there as the Muskrats send this to safety, but Torrent once again regain possession, and that will bring us to half. Your FC Milwaukee Torrent up 3-0 over the Midwest Select SA Muskrats. Goals coming in the 1st minute, 24th minute, and 28th minute. The 1st and 28th minute goals coming from number 19, Alexa Miletus, and that 24th minute goal coming from Layla Kelbel. Well, we're going to take a break for a few minutes. We'll come back to talk about this first half. And so with that, I will see you on the other side of this break. Welcome back here to Hart Park in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. FC Milwaukee Torrent up on the Midwest Muskrats 3-0. Goals coming in the first, 24th, and 28th minutes. First goal scored by Alex Miletus. That was assisted by Layla Kalbel. And then in the 24th minute, Kalbel gets her own goal. That assisted by Mia Hurdle. And finally in the 28th, Alexis Miletus once again in a great assist from Ryan Locante. So Miletus with a brace here in the first game of the season, the first half of the season. As I said, the Torrent up 3-0 over the Midwest Muskrats. Muskrats, a young team, not only with players, but also as an organization, only in their second year in existence in the WPSL. Still looking for their first win. I don't think it's going to come tonight, but a great organization run by some really nice people that will continue to be a great asset for the WPSL. Well, the Torrent came out very confident today. They came out in a very forward-thinking 3-5-2, and it certainly paid off in that first half. We shall see what happens in the second half. Another mystery, too, that we're waiting to see in the second half is how many of these subs will continue to play for the Torrent. Andy Davi subbing basically everybody from the bench except the backup goalkeeper halfway through that first half, making sure all his players have good experience here in the WPSL. And, of course, that experience will continue for the Torrent as they next take on Quad Cities Rush. Their schedule for both these teams now is basically a home-and-home series, as they will travel to Quad Cities Rush for a game on June 4th. That is Sunday at 3 p.m. That is their away game for the Torrent. But the Torrent come back home to take on that same Quad Cities Rush team, that being a home game June 9th. That is a Friday at 7 p.m. Well, we can't talk about the Torrent without talking about the men. Men having played their first game of the year in the NPSL, they won that game 2-0. They return home tomorrow night as they will kick off at 7 p.m. So make sure you come by Hart Park for the men's game tomorrow at 7, and then on June 9th for the women's game, taking on Quad Cities at 7 p.m. Well, we got a couple of more minutes left in this halftime. We will continue to take that break, and we will see you on the other side of this whistle. Welcome back to Hart Park here in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, where the FC Milwaukee Torrent lead the Midwest Muskrats 3-0 here at the half. Referees giving their fist bumps to each other, just about to get underway. Very strong first half from the Torrent. We've seen just about every single Torrent player get some time on the pitch today. I won't be surprised if that will end up including at some point Madison Osborne, backup keeper for the Torrent. Mickey Easter not having to be kept busy at all in that first half. See if she gets a little more action today. And you see players from both teams jumping up and down, trying to keep themselves warm. It has dropped about 4 degrees here since the start of the game. And we are underway in the second half. FC Milwaukee Torrent bringing back most of their starters, if not all of them. Haven't checked them all personally myself, but seeing Kelly Swenson back at center back. Solaric here on the right side with her first touch of the ball in the second half. Miletus, a brace on the night already. Will we see her get a hat trick? Lights on at Hart Park. Swenson with the ball at her feet, making a run up the field, then playing it back. Ball comes right back to the feet of Swenson. Very rarely do we see Swenson make a run of that sort. Now in the box for the Torrent as a header and a goal! Cowbell with a wonderful run into the box, plays that across. And Torrent now up 4-0, 47th minute of play. I believe that goal officially came in the 46th minute. Ball played all the way back to Easter, who sends it straight out to her left back. Greta Hansen back in the game for the Torrent at the left back position. Solaric plays this out to Balistrieri. Balistrieri with a nice cut in. Now towards the box, sends it in with her left foot. Confirmation of that goal in the 46th minute coming from Lauren Hernandez. So Hernandez, one of those players that is new to the Torrent. Some good sportsmanship there near midfield. Solaric turning back to Kelly Schaefer. Schaefer basically saying it's all right, with Solaric apologizing. Some confusion on the field. We are taking the free kick. Looked like the center referee was first calling for the throw-in. But now that's all sorted out. Back to play we go. Muskrats with some nice 1-2 play. And no challenge in the end for Easter, who calmly grabs that ball out of the air. More of a catch, really. And Torrent elect to work this ball out of the back. Swenson with the ball at her feet. And after a ricochet, Swenson recollects, sends the ball up. Kalbel sees an on-rushing Balistrieri off the ball. Ball eventually makes its way to Balistrieri after a nice pass from, I believe it was Hernandez. Solaric on the ball. Plays this up to Miletus. Miletus to Kalbel. Kalbel unfortunately called offside. Fifth offside on the night for the Torrent. By the way, that shot that Easter grabbed out of the air just a minute ago or so was the first official shot on goal for the Muskrats. That coming basically in the 48th minute. Swenson reading that ball well. Foul called against the Torrent near midfield. Center referee, as he should do, waiting to see if the Muskrats would gain any type of advantage. I know that can be frustrating for fans of the game who are still not used to it. Referees are told to hold off 2 or 3 seconds to see if anything does develop. Reason for that is to help prevent any type of advantage being taken away too early. I'm a big fan of that, by the way. I love the fact that referees are told to wait a little bit, see if anything does develop, rather than award the free kick right away. Taking a little bit from hockey in a way, in which, of course, hockey referees will hold off on making a call as well, or sending a player to the penalty box after a play is over and done with. If you tuned in at halftime, you may have heard this information, but just in case you haven't, the Torrent's next home game for the women is June 9th as they take on Quad Cities Rush. That game at 7 p.m. So if you are a Milwaukee fan and you're in Milwaukee and you're tuning into this live stream, well, I thank you for listening. We'd love to have you down at Hart Park helping cheer on this very exciting Milwaukee Torrent team. Again, next home game, June 9th, 7 p.m. against Quad Cities Rush. Ball played in the back to Hansen. Hansen played that to Moyer. Moyer with a great ball to Hurdle. Hurdle in the box. Opportunity for Hurdle. Can she take it? No, she does, but goalkeeper is there to deny her. Dameron for the Muskrats. Well-read play. Player taken down right in front of the referee. Easy call. Free kick for the Torrent. Torrent up 4-0 here in the 54th minute. They're going to stack the right side of the box. Can they convert this free kick into their 5th goal of the night? Ball sent into the box. Unbelievable. Surprised by everyone. Ball rolls over the goal line. Scored by Sophia Balistrieri, number 13. Everybody just in a bit of amazement. I talked about how they'd be looking for their 5th goal, obviously off of that free kick, but certainly everybody caught on their heels. It almost looked as if Tatum Danmon, the goalkeeper for the Muskrats, thought that ball was going to go to the outside of the goal. Instead, rolls right into the post and into the back of the net. All the players as well, on the, as I said, like on the back of their heels for the Muskrats, but even the Torrent players were standing around looking as if that ball was going to go outside of the goal and it was going to be a goal kick. Instead, it's the 5th goal of the night for FC Milwaukee Torrent, now up 5-0 over the Midwest Muskrats. Some frustration coming out on the field from Alex Skinner. Not going towards the ball at all. That was very easy foul call by the referee. And had a quick conversation with Skinner, telling her one more, and that's a yellow. Well, Balistrieri, yet another new player for the Torrent, getting on the board for Milwaukee. Speaking of Balistrieri, here she is on the near side once again. Sends this ball in. Headed away by the Muskrats defense. By the way, Lainey Higgins, having taken that free kick, playing it into the box, gets the assist on that Balistrieri goal. When I get home tonight, I'm definitely going to go back and take a look at that goal just to see exactly what happened with everyone. But it was almost as somebody pressed the pause button and ball ends up in the back of the net. Swenson on the ball. Certainly disheartening for the Muskrats. Giving up 2 goals here early on in the first half. 2 goals within the first 8 minutes of the first half. Is it 3? No, it's not. That goes over the end line. That'll be a goal kick for the Muskrats. Kendall Karuba, by the way, who was injured in about the 15th minute of play or so, is on the bench. She does have her leg up. So best wishes to her. Certainly hope that she heals quickly. Nothing malicious in what happened with Karuba. But hate to see a player go down, especially this early in the season. Hate to see him go down no matter when it happens, but heartbreaking when it's at the start of the season like this. Easter out to Solaric. Solaric with plenty of space in front of her. Takes it all the way near midfield, then plays it up to Hernandez. Hernandez plays it to Miletus. Miletus fighting for that ball. It does pop out to Balistrieri. Balistrieri now loses the ball to Sherman, but Sherman sends it right out of bounds. Balistrieri with the throw-in. Hernandez sends this ball to the top of the box. On the ball, right in front of the referee, no foul. Miletus in the box. Ball falls to Hurdle. Hurdle with the shot. Muskrats send the ball out to only as far as momentarily Greta Hansen. Ball comes all the way back now to Swenson. Swenson with a nice move in the back. Plays this up to Kelbel. Now out to Hurdle. Hurdle making her way in the box once again. Kelbel, right-footed shot! Goal! Layla Kayla Kebbel, her second on the night. Well, what an introduction this has been for these new players to the Torrent. Andy Davi said he feels very confident in this team, and we are starting to see why. 6-0 now, FC Milwaukee Torrent, as the Muskrats make a couple of substitutions coming off the field. Number 17, Kaylee Evers. Joining her off the field is Anna Capillari. And coming into the field, number 8, Sydney Stott, and number 9, Kayla Green. Another opportunity for the Torrent as we enter the 61st minute of play. The Torrent now matching their goal output in the second half of that with the first half. Solaric playing this into the middle. Give credit to the Muskrats as they continue to add pressure. That ball out of bounds right before Solaric could get a touch on it. With 29 minutes left in this one. Torrent starting out very strong. By the way, on that 6th goal, Mia Hurdle with the assist. That is her second assist on the night. Swenson in a foot race, which she wins. But we also saw the speed of Kelly Schaefer. Played out to Hansen. Mentioned all the newer players to the Torrent. Hansen also being one of those, playing in defense. On the far side now is Hurdle. Plenty of numbers in the box. But that also includes Tatum Dameron. Yes, she has let in 6 goals, but she has made some fine plays today. Sends this one towards the middle. Heavy pressure applied by the Torrent immediately. And foul called against number 12, Kelly Schaefer, as Hernandez. One possession, then was quickly taken down. Torrent having their way through this midfield, trying to play this ball up. It gets to Balistrieri, who sends it in. Hurdle on the ball, gets it near the 6. Does she win the corner? Yes, she does. Again, a beautiful night here in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. We are at Hart Park as FC Milwaukee Torrent are up 6-0 here in the 64th minute over the Midwest Muskrats. Muskrats traveling from northwest Indiana. Of course, they will not be happy with the score line, but as a young franchise in this league, nice save there again by Dameron. Another corner kick for the Torrent. Muskrats will continue to grow. And I'm sure as they look to reach their goals, they will be a club that will find their way to be a challenge in the WPSL. But as of right now, pretty tame night for the Torrent, having their will and way most of this night. Schaefer, nice step over. Plays this to Sherman. Sherman turns the ball back. Played it to Stott, who sent it directly to Swenson of the Torrent. Swenson passing this back to Easter, making sure Easter's still awake back there. This ball sent up. Hernandez with a touch. Plays it out to Solaric, back to Hernandez. Again, Torrent, just like in the first half, not afraid to take their time here in their defensive part of the field. Strong tackle from Kelbell. Hansen looking to play this up to Miletus. A couple of players on a brace tonight. Miletus being one of those, as she got things underway for the Torrent, scoring in the first minute of play, the first 9 seconds. And then once again, scoring again in the 28th minute. Layla Kelbell, also a player with a brace tonight. She's got the latest goal for the Torrent, that in the 59th, but also scoring in the first half in the 24th minute. Add to that, Kelbell with 2 assists on the night. And she is your early leader in points for the Torrent. Well, Torrent fans, make sure you come out tomorrow night for the men's game. Taking on Sunflower State at 7 p.m. here at Hart Park. For years, the Torrent were in a conference that featured many Michigan and Illinois teams. Brand new division for them this year. And looking at the teams in that division, Torrent certainly should be challenging for the title. Got things started right with a 2-0 win the other night. That was against the expansion team. So Sunflower State, they've been around at least for a couple of years. And that'll be a more true test of what this Torrent men's team looks like. So make sure you come by tomorrow, 7 p.m. for that game. Always a great weekend here at Hart Park when you can see both the women and the men play within 24 hours of each other. Torrent lining up for perhaps another opportunity at the Muskrats goal. Hurdle on the far side plays this into Miletus. Miletus trying to play it back to Hurdle. Muskrats had other plans. Muskrats trying to get forward themselves. Little uncertain there as the Torrent regained possession once again, rushing into the box. That was Moyer. Moyer getting past quite a few defenders, and the danger is not over for the Muskrats. Ball sent into the middle of the box. That took a deflection, and into the hands of Dameron it goes. Torrent keeping 3 players back, as Kelly Schaefer of the Muskrats, the lone player forward for the Muskrats. Once again, Torrent not letting up on the throttle. Kelbell plays this backwards. Trying to play it outside to Bellistreri. Instead goes out of bounds. And, well, Yuri, you got your work cut out for you once again, my friend. Yuri Hebrovich, my spotter tonight, helping me keep track of all these substitutions. And a center midfielder for the men's team, certainly thanking him for his help tonight. Just as much as the men's team depends on you, Yuri, I'm dependent on you even more tonight. Shot just over the post. Heading for the upper 90 was a shot from Layla Kelbel. Kelbel, one of the few players remaining on the field after this massive substitution window. I can see Bellistreri is another one of the players still out there for the Torrent. Bellistreri with a header. Players coming onto the field for the Torrent in that single substitution window. First, let's see what happens here with the Muskrats. Green lays this off to Shaw. Olivia Shaw now plays it out to the right. Ball sent into the box. Kelly Schaefer is there, but so is Caitlin Owens for the Torrent. Well, and we can start there. Owens, one of the players that came on for Milwaukee. The others I will quickly run down this list. Ryan Locante, assist on the night already. Adriana Alberts. Caitlin Owens had, as I had mentioned, Miranda Sophia. Sydney Sagal. Tori Crivello. Abby Hall. And finally, Lola Wojcik. Again, thank you to the man to my right, Yuri Hebrovich. Keeping track of all those substitutions for me. Ball in the box for Milwaukee. Sent out, corner kick for the Torrent. Locante sends this in. Well taken. Bouncing around in the box. Ball pops back out to Locante. Sends it in with her left. Ball headed out momentarily, but only as far as Wojcik. Wojcik with a shot. Dameron plays it safe. Sliding across the turf, eventually collecting that ball. Speaking of the men's team, I talked about how they won last Saturday, 2-0 winners over Etar Belleville FC. Again, that's an expansion club in the NPSL, the National Premier Soccer League. Men play again tomorrow, taking on Sunflower State FC. That at Hart Park at 7 p.m. Other teams that FC Milwaukee Torrent will be playing against this year that will be brand new for anybody who's been a Torrent fan since 2015. Des Moines United FC, Club Atletico St. Louis, and Iowa Raptors FC. Of course, tomorrow is Sunflower State. And substitutions now for the Muskrats. Coming onto the field, number 2, Olivia Hernandez, and number 26, Nora Lobert. Coming off of the field, number 23, Alex Skinner. And it looks like number 3, Emily Green. Now in the 75th minute of play, our last 15 minutes of the night. And FC Milwaukee Torrent up 6-0. And we indeed will see backup goalkeeper Madison Osborne make her Torrent debut at the next stoppage of play. Ball sent over the top, opportunity for the Torrent. Nice save once again by Dameron. Answering the call, and now we will see that substitution. Mickey Easter coming off of the field, making her debut for FC Milwaukee Torrent, Madison Osborne. It may not be a full game shutout, but Easter walking off the field with at least a shared shutout. That's assuming that Osborne does not let in a goal, or for that matter, the Muskrats even have an opportunity on goal. We shall see what the final 14 and a half minutes brings us. Emily Green also will be going back on the field for the Muskrats now at the next stoppage. Bellistreri on the far side. Bellistreri with a goal on the night. A goal that surprised every single person in the stands, every single person on the field, including Bellistreri herself. A lot of great communication out there from the Torrent players, even from up here. We can hear players talking to each other, asking for the ball, asking for a switch. This will be a goal kick for the Muskrats. Ball went out of bounds just before the Torrent player got a touch on it. Coming off the field is Olivia Hansen, captain for this Muskrats team. Returning to the field is Emily Green. Offside call against the Torrent. By the way, if I haven't said it yet tonight, thank you for those of you who reached out and were wondering when you would hear me again at a Torrent broadcast. I'll be doing the women's games this year. It is always great to be back in the press box for these games. We do have a new voice for the men's team. That's Scott Wagner. We welcome him to the Torrent. Number of reasons. Nothing to do as far as being asked to step down or anything like that. Just wanted to clarify that. It's a lot of personal things going on in my own life that I needed to take a step back from some of the play-by-play calls. And an opportunity for Milwaukee. Ball still loose. Dameron deciding to use her feet rather than her hands. Her hands there initially, but finally jumping on the ball. Otherwise, looked like Sydney Sagal may have had her first goal on the night. But yes, not that I need to get into too much of it. Just a lot of things going on that require my attention elsewhere, at least for this summer. I've enjoyed always calling these games. I know many people depend on me being here for that, but I'm so thankful that we have the opportunity to have Scott Wagner step in for those men's games, so that we can continue to bring you these live streams and have a play-by-play caller on them. But I'm also thankful as well that owner Andy Davi is very willing to work with my schedule, understanding of my situation and things that I need to attend to. Couple of substitutions coming in for both teams now. 15 and 29 of the Muskrats. That's Lauren O'Toole and Elena South coming on for Midwest. Mia Hurdle returning to the pitch for the Torrent. And I believe it was Miletus as well that is rejoining the Torrent on the pitch. Ball sent in the box. Once again, Dameron there for the Muskrats. By the way, coming off the field for the Torrent was Sophia Bellistreri as well as Layla Kelbel. Substitutions that came off the field for the Muskrats: Kayla Green and Kelly Landry. Muskrats with a little bit of new life with those substitutions that have been made in the last few minutes. You see there that foot race that'll be won by Tori Crivello. Just about 8.5 minutes left in this one. Torrent up 6-0 in their season opener here in the WPSL. What a way to start. Keeping a 0 on one side of the scoreboard and a 6 on your own. Really couldn't ask for a better start. Not only that, we've seen some really good football from this Torrent team tonight. Great communication. Chemistry is top-notch. And, of course, just as I say that, a mishit ball that goes back in possession of the Muskrats. But as it's been all night long, Torrent right away regain possession and look for yet another attack. Opportunity for a hat trick. Just goes beyond the goal. That was Miletus with the quick turn and a shot. Certainly very appreciative of everybody we have working in the booth tonight. Stream is produced by Kevin O'Connor. He is the man behind the magic, taking us a whole nother level every single year, introducing something new to our broadcast. And the man you're hearing over the microphone, not me, Dan Pfeiffer, our expert PA announcer. See him all around the area doing all kinds of sports. Most intimately known as the voice of the Valley, however, for Marquette University. He gets to be in that slick new stadium that'll be built here in the next few years. Special shout out to a couple of men's players who have been helping us out tonight as well. I've said his name quite a bit. Yuri Hibrovich being our spotter on the night, helping keep track of all the goal scorers, the assists, the substitutions. And Lisandro Jimenez, one of our, well, the cameraman tonight. Lisandro, he tells us that he's studying sports management. Is that correct, Lisandro? So this is right up his alley. He was super excited to be jumping on the camera, and of course, we're super excited for him to do it. Kevin, A minus? A? Okay. All right. Being told that Lisandro's done an excellent job tonight. Muskrats still going strong, looking for a goal on the night. Always good to see these teams that are here to still look for an opportunity rather than just hang their heads and give up. Torrent perhaps pulling back just a tad bit on their attack now. 86th minute of play, almost 87th. Muskrats growing a little bit more compact, wanting to not let any more opportunities on goal for the Torrent. But even here, we still see the Torrent willing to win balls and trying to play them in. Muskrats are starting to see the field open up a bit more for themselves. Sherman playing this up top. Nice save, nice play by the Torrent backup. I'll get to that in a second as the play continues. Nice slide tackle play. Still continuing, now out of bounds. Let's go and talk about that wonderful play by number 21, Madison Osborne. Backup keeper for the Torrent, coming out of her box and looking like a center back the way she won that ball. And then a strong slide tackle from Adriana Alberts, making sure that the Muskrats did not get a shot off. Substitutions for the Muskrats on this corner kick going in were Olivia Hansen and Kayla Green. Coming off, number 12 and number 8. We'll get to those in a second. This ball sent in. Osborne looked as if she may have bobbled that ball just for a bit, but able to grab it before going over the goal line. Would have been an Olympico had that gone in, coming straight off the corner. Substitutions that came off that came off, my apologies, for the Muskrats. Number 8, Sydney Stott, and number 12, Kelly Schaefer. Well played by the Muskrats defender, but Torrent still in possession as we are officially in the 89th minute of play. Ooh, bad loss there from the Torrent defender. And that will be a corner kick for the Muskrats. Abby Hall, who's had a good game tonight, making almost a critical error, but give her credit for not giving up and staying in that foot race, eventually winning it, doing just enough to send that ball out of bounds rather than Osborne having to make a play. Now, we saw this last time, a direct shot on goal from the corner. Standing over the ball is Olivia Shaw. Shaw sends this one to the middle of the box. Torrent eventually sends it out. And we are in the 90th minute. Usually when you see a score line of this nature, referee will blow their whistle at the exact moment the clock ticks over to 90-0-0. We'll see if that's the case tonight. Torrent happy to knock this ball around in the back, just kill off these final seconds of the game. Muskrats themselves not applying too much pressure. This played across. Owens on the ball. She sends this one up to Locante. And we will have a bit of stoppage, it looks. Or perhaps not. Whistle in the mouth of the referee. And that will do it, folks. FC Milwaukee Torrent, big winners on the night. 3 goals in the first half, 3 goals in the second half. 6-0 is your final score. We'll take just a small break here. We'll come back and give you some post-game analysis. And then we will call it a night after that. So don't go away. We'll do a quick recap of what we saw tonight. And we will see you on the other side of this break. Welcome back to our post-game cap. What is this post-game recap? Yes, I can't talk. Hey, it's like the first game for me, so Anyways, welcome back to the post-game recap here at Hart Park. FC Milwaukee Torrent taking on the Muskrats, beating them 6-0, 3 goals in the first half, 3 goals in the second half. Let's run through those goals quickly. I can't remember all of them to describe them. There were so many tonight, but what I can tell you is the Torrent got on the board in the 9th second, not the 9th minute, the 9th second of play tonight, thanks to a great run by Layla Kelbel, who played it off to Alexis Miletus. Miletus putting it in the back of the net. Miletus would score again, but before that happened, Kelbel, who got the assist on the first goal, came in the 24th minute to score her own. That assisted by Mia Hurdle. Hurdle making a fantastic run down the left side. And then Miletus would get her second of the night, completing her brace in the 28th minute. That one assisted by Ryan Locante. And yes, I have to have my cheat notes for all of this. Then in the 46th minute, Torrent just started the second half where they left off with the first half, scoring a goal in the 46th minute. That one coming from Hernandez. That also an assist from Kelbel. So Kelbel would also score in the 59th minute, giving her 2 goals on the night, giving her a brace, as well as 2 assists on the night. Mia Hurdle, by the way, giving that assist in the 59th minute. In between those 2 goals, 53rd minute of play, Balistrieri in perhaps what was the most bizarre goal we've seen here at Hart Park, perhaps ever, but certainly in a long time. Ball played off of a corner. Balistrieri gets a touch on it. Ball starts to bounce. Everybody played as if the ball was going to go wide of the goal. Next thing you know, goal. The ball goes in the goal, and Balistrieri gets a goal on her debut performance for FC Milwaukee Torrent. That was basically the story of the night. The Torrent dominated on all sides of the field, all parts of the pitch. Wherever there was a Torrent player, they were winning the ball. Even if a mistake was made, it seemed like the player that made the mistake would come in and correct that mistake. So a lot of positives tonight here at Hart Park. A lot of credit to head coach Andy Davi for this team that he has put together. You can see the women in action once again as they will return home on June 9th. That against Quad Cities Rush. That game at 7 p.m. Before that home game on July 9th, the women do travel to Quad Cities. That game on June 4th. But the game that you will want to be in the stadium for, just to be clear, is June 9th. That game at 7 p.m. In the meantime, make sure you come by tomorrow night as the men continue their season in the NPSL. That game at 7 p.m. tomorrow night against Sunflower State here at Hart Park. The men got their season off to a great start with a 2-0 win this past Saturday. Well, thank you for joining us here on this 11 Sports live stream. Next time you catch a women's FC Milwaukee Torrent game, check out our YouTube channel, as that is where you'll find us the rest of the season. Special thanks once again to Kevin O'Connor, our director and producer of the stream, to Dan Pfeiffer, the man you hear as the PA voice in the stadium. Special thanks to a couple of our men's players. Got a late night. You guys got to get home and get to sleep now to prepare for tomorrow. Lizandra Jimenez, who was running camera tonight, and Yuri Hebrovich, who denied an halftime interview. Just kidding. Yuri did great with helping us out, being our spotter, especially with all the subs, all the goals, all the assists. Wonderful work from those men's players. So thank you guys for that. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Hart Park. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time. Again, YouTube channel, FC Milwaukee Torrent. That's where we'll be.